Good morning or afternoon. Here is IMI's next wave content series. Rather than pre-planned timing, we're going to go for a pre-recorded session from October 14th, Powering Business Growth, the Pulse of Sentiment. Trade wars have obviously been around for a while, Canada, US, and elsewhere. And what's current Canadian sentiment? Because we know there's a lot of rhetoric or speculation out there. What's the fact based on consumer interviews and sentiment we'll look at today? So in the news, let me start again. Good morning, Don Mayo here from IMI International. This is IMI's Next Wave content series, Powering Business Growth, the Pulse on Canadian Sentiment. We're going to look at, there's a lot of speculation and thoughts out there, and now we're looking at what's actually happening in the marketplace. So in the news, while buying Canadians bump fades for many businesses, going strong among some interests. You see July, interest in elbows up, merchandise waning ahead of Canada Day. We see, so this is a couple months ago, but you still see it today. Is it still relevant? We get asked many times from people, do people care about Canada still? And obviously they do care about Canada, but do they care about the Canada message, the Canadian message, or are they really looking at moving on to the next step? So the reality from a consumer perspective, that while people may not be buying t-shirts, that elbows up, buy Canada, travel Canada, support Canada is going very strong. We'll share with you some recent data we pulled from Canadians to see what they're currently doing. This remains a key time for brands and businesses to lean in and actually drive business. It's not everything, it's not the strategy, but it's part of the strategy. And it doesn't really matter if you're in Canada with Canadian, the US with US, England with UK. You need to support your country. Right now, it's very prevalent, very real, and important for marketplaces. How the headlines should look. 6 months on, Support Canada remains highly relevant with momentum expected into 2026. So advancing momentum. Support Canada messaging shows no sign of consumer burnout. Consumer behavior continues to shows shifting priorities for Canadians. They continue to buy Canadian. They continue not to travel to the US. But there's some real big things here where Canadians can actually take advantage of sentiment and possibly have a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year tail on this buy Canadian right now. So how are we going to go about that? What does it look like? The one thing we always say is negative advertising doesn't work. Negative positioning doesn't work. It hasn't worked in the 30 plus years I've been involved. So don't be anti-US. Be pro-Canada, because you'll see in here people are buying European goods, Chinese goods, when they should be buying Canadian goods. So 4 points here. Canadians are actively seeking to purchase and are deliberately choosing Canadian and non-US options across products, services, and travel. How do we get this to buy Canada, not just US? Most Canadians believe the attention on Canadians is appropriate, not overdone. In fact, they want more. So is the Canada messaging too much? It's not. And we'll look at the actual facts behind this. The third point, the message must go beyond simply waving the flag. That is not enough. It's like putting a logo up in a rink. That's not enough to drive impact, or a logo up in a grocery store. There's too much going on in the world. You have to be better than that. So to connect meaningfully, brands must show tangible benefit to people's lives while also tapping in authentically to Canadian touchpoints. Using Canadian cues works when layered with real value. The last thing is uncertainty continues as Canadians are holding dollars for big investments, housing, condos, and continue to be concerned about their job security, prompting a search for new roles. So you have multiple different things happening at the same time, but nothing's changed. Focus on value, focus on consumer benefit, and now you have another lever to continue to use or start to use is authentically be part of Canada. If we look in the past month, have purchased products of Canada made in Canada. So we look down from Feb 7th through August 2025. It's gone from 51 to 69%. In the past few months, it's gone from 66 to 69%, increased 3% to 22 million Canadians. It's not lagging, it's continuing. And most times, it doesn't continue for longer than 6 weeks, whether it's tragic wars, tragic instances, or big celebrations. 6 weeks is the maximum life, typically in today's population. Well, the fact here is we see it's at 68% in March, and the end of August at 69%. It's staying, and it's going to stay probably for many more years while the tariffs continue, as being in Canada, supporting Canadian economy and supporting Canada is crucially important to the people. Also look at local, because it can be made in Canada or made local, and there's many debates about should it be made in Toronto, should it be made in Cambridge, should it be made in Saskatoon, or should it be made in Saskatchewan or Quebec. We'll look at this further. But again, we see through August 20th, it's actually increased made locally, up 9%. A bit of a resurgence. The other thing is up to 64%. So 2/3 of Canadians are buying made local. Made local also means Canada. Doesn't mean it has to be in your backyard. The other thing is people that are newcomers to Canada, even stronger at 7 in 10 people. And what we'll see across every country is people that immigrate in actually want to acculturate quicker. They want to become part of the fabric of the community or the country they're moving towards. So once again, we see here local Canada very strong and continuing to be strong. So we see here the next page is relative to 2024. Over the next 12 months, how will the following change in purchasing brands, products, and services? So February, buying products made in Canada is up plus 53%. They're going to increase, whereas buying products made in the U.S. down 14%. Now it's up 6 to 63%. They intend on increasing. So if you make it findable or make it known or make it online that you're part of Canada, part of the fabric of Canada, or if you're in the U.S., part of your country in the U.S. or the U.K., it will actually have a tremendously beneficial impact. Buying products made in the U.S., if you're overtly American, it's going to be significant decrease in purchase. How do we overcome that? There's many U.S. companies that employ thousands and thousands of Canadians. There's many U.S. brands that are produced in Canada. There are many U.S. brands that are packaged in Canada. There are many different messages you can use, whether you're solely Canadian, all the way through to employing Canadians, to actually intercept and ingratiate yourself into the fabric of Canada. So you don't have to be Canada, but you have to be positive towards Canada. You have to be part of the Canadian process to be able to do this. The other thing is, let's focus on pro-Canada, pro-local, not anti-U.S. There's no benefit to anyone about anti-U.S. Whatever you think about tariffs and trade wars, it is a policy that we will not be able to change. We can affect it by actually being pro-Canada. So there is the opportunity to unite to buy Canada. Unfortunately, it's taken a long time for the government to get here. Hopefully we'll have something universal shortly, but at this point in time, we're on our own to actually drive that forward. A bunch of different actions in the past month. And what we have here is change in the past month from August to May versus here's have done in August and have done in May. We see here every single one of them's up, positive. Not positive significantly, but there's no lagging. The press that says is lagging is misled or misleading you to create headlines. So I've purchased a product because it was made locally, up 6% to 64%. I have taken extra time in store to find Canadian products, up to 58%, up 4%. I've taken extra time online to find Canadian providers, up 4% to 50%. Just think about that. People are time starved right now. They have no attention span, yet they are going out of their way to go online, in store, and to purchase products that are Canadian. So not to actually allow them to see it on the homepage, on the package, near the in-store, whatever you may be doing is actually doing a great disservice to your product or service. If we look at this, booked a trip to stay in Canada instead of traveling to the U.S., 40% of Canadians, up from 36%. So it continues. If you are a travel destination, event destination, concert destination, comedy, whatever it may be, you need to get the message out. For 26 and 27, people plan a long time out. Canceled trip to the U.S., up 1% to 31%. Here we see two other things. Booked a trip to Mexico, the Caribbean, or booked a trip to Europe. This is why we need to be pro-Canada. We are losing business to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Europe. That's not just airlines and car rental. That's restaurants, that's hotels, that's retail stores, that's products, goods, and services. It's 19%, and people are going to want to go somewhere warm. But the fact is, are we doing a universal job to keep Canadians in Canada? Are we actually going out of our way to make sure they are welcome in Canada? And that's a crucial aspect of this. We go through some other factors of what's going on. We'll see change in the past 3 months. You see they're all up again, all positive over here on the right-hand side. So this is May versus August 20th. You can see 58% have done, but 22% will do. That's 80% of people. Online, 48 and 26, up to 74%. And because it was locally, 64 plus 18 is 84%. In each case, you're in the 8 out of 10 people that have or will. So to say it's waning is misdirecting brands and products and services. Delay looking at houses, 26% have and 25% will. So the condo market and house market's not coming back slam dunk, even with 0.25% reductions in interest rates. Stop purchasing American wine and liquor. Well, some's mandated, like in Ontario and other provinces where they don't carry it anymore. But think about it. 45% have done, 22% will do. Those brands need to put made in. The one place it doesn't impact that greatly is in the beer sector. And because a lot of it is manufactured here. We get into one other element here. I've started to look for other job opportunities due to fear of losing my job. 26% have, 24% will. 50% will not or have not been impacted. Significantly higher among high-income earners at 40% and youth at 33%. Have or will among 125,000 plus per year is up at 80%, and 18 to 29 years at 66%. So one message I'd give to all entrepreneurs or all managers or senior managers in a company is let people know what's going on. Otherwise, you may lose some really, really good people that you want to keep. Make sure they know where the world is going. Make sure they know where the company is going. Make sure they know the outlook to ensure they know what's going on. So that's up to there that things are staying the same as well as some things are changing. A lot of questions we also get asked is Quebec a lot different? Are young people a lot different? Or new Canadians a lot different? So this is the net increase, future intention to buy products made in Canada. This is products or services. This is retail or online. Nationally, it's 62%. You can see it's highest in Ontario, but 56% in Quebec. So Quebecers still will buy Canadian products, buy them more, increase Canada. It does not need to be Quebec. In fact, in earlier sessions, in earlier webinars, we showed you that buy Canadian is stronger than buy Quebec. They're both super strong, but if you're going to pick one, a national Canada mandate would be what we recommend. Look at born outside of Canada versus born in Canada, up 69 points, higher than Canadians. People that are new to Canada are more loyal to Canada than Canadians born here. Male, female equal at 63, 61. If we look at age, yes, as you get older, 45 plus, stronger, but really strong at 18 to 44, 55 and 56% respectively. Kids living at home, much stronger. And then again, as your income increases, the fact is even an increased loyalty towards Buy Canada. If you have more financial constraints, you're going to buy whatever is best for you. And sometimes that's the most expensive item as well. So still half the people are going to buy more Canadian or increase the use of Canadian. So it doesn't matter what segment, Buy Canada is good for all brands, products, services, every region, every age, every gender or demographic profile. So let's go deeper into this. Let's look at people that cancel the trip to the United States. So this is August 20th. Have done, will do, will not do. So 4 and 10 won't do. It's up 1% since May. Go back here. 31% have done, 27% will do. So 58%, 6 and 10. How about people 125 grand plus? The people that take the more expensive trips, 41%, significantly higher have, and 20% still will do. So 6 and 10 have or will. You need to attract those people. If you have destinations, concerts, venues, make sure you actually have them in your marketplace. Born outside of Canada, again, higher. The fact is, even though they're going to go back to their homeland, possibly, or visit friends and family there, the fact is they still will cancel a trip to the U.S. and go wherever they may be going. Booked a trip to the Mexico, Caribbean, 20 and 33%. Again, much higher among families and people making 125,000 plus per year. Booked a trip to Europe instead of the USA, 19%. Again, more affluent in the millennial group and even much stronger in Quebec will go to Europe, back to the different locations there. So you see, we need to come together as Canadians for Canada to travel, staycation in Canada. We're not going to get it all, but we can certainly try and get as much as possible. And then again, 4 and 10 have booked a trip to stay in Canada instead of traveling. So Canadian destinations need to attract Canadians. Let's not forget about them. And if you haven't done in the past, we strongly recommend you do. Again, earn 125,000 plus. 54% have done, and another 23% will do. So if you have a great destination, make sure you encourage them, or travel, or drive by car, or whatever it may be. And again, youth, again, at 44 and 32%, you got 7 in 10 of that Gen Z millennial crowd going to book a trip in Canada. So again, there's a lot of travel destination. It's good news for sports events, hotels, car rental, Canadian Airlines to actually keep people within Canada. And again, not through anti-US, but through pro-Canadian. Invite them in, invite them to be here, show them the benefits. If we look at who will avoid travel and for how long, we segmented it out. First of all, there's no difference since May. The intention's as strong. So if you look at it, 40% say the tariff and trade wars have no impact on my travel. It's too cold in Canada, so I'm going south as soon as it gets cold again. It's about 1 in 20 people say that. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do with travel to the US. So 4 in 10 are going to stay the course. But if you look at the other 60%, I'll not travel in 2025, 15%. I'll not travel in 25 or 26, 10%. I will not travel to the US in 25, 26, 27, another 15%. I truly will avoid US travel for as long as I can, hoping forever at 20 points. This is long-term impact. It means they're going to go to Europe, Mexico, and a lot of other places. But the fact, again, is if I'm Canadian, let's attract them in for the next few years. If I'm US, you're doing a good job of inviting them back. And the fact is the time will come, they will come back. However, in the meantime, Canadian destinations can be super attractive. Canadian sporting events, cultural events, causes, all those things where they're running events, where they're having games, events, whatever might happen, you can invite them there and you will attract a great number of people. People also get sick of messaging. Typically, marketing people get sick of messaging quicker than anyone else. And I've heard many times in meetings, like, people, you can't do that Canada message anymore. It's done. It's over. Aren't people sick of it yet? I'm sick of it. Aren't people? Well, you're not the general population. You're not the 40 million other people out there. So we look at, there's really very little difference between May to August. There's just the right number of messaging. 4 and 10 think that. There are too few buy Canada messages. I'd like more from everyone. That doesn't include just in retail. That includes online, elsewhere. 30%. So 71%, the right number, or they want more. Too many, 19%. The same numbers in May. Nothing's changed. So don't be afraid to have a buy Canadian, prepared in Canada, employing Canadians, made locally, all those types of things as part of your war chest. I wish everyone would just stop with the buy Canada. 10%, same number. They're just sick of it, don't want it. They don't like messaging, they hate advertising, they hate all advertising. But 7 and 10 would like more or the same numbers. And we strongly suggest that you jump on board. If you haven't, authentically, it is not your strategy. It's part of a strategy. Don't think it'll solve a major price issue, a major value issue, a major competitive issue, but as a tiebreaker, a phenomenal opportunity to drive impact. So consistent Canada messaging keeps the narrative alive, drives momentum, and requires all of us to play a part going forward in the Buy Canada movement. Here's the messages since April. Again, right amount, 46 in April, down to 40%. You can see too few has actually gone up a couple points, but it's the same, and too many about the same. So this has been a long tail from April through August, where people are feeling and saying the same thing for over 5 months. Doing our part to make Canadian products and preserves easier to find is critical. And this is just perceptions of people, again, August to May. Ease of finding Canadian products at retail. Are retailers doing a good job? Their clean store policy, their no sampling product policy. I've already established many times in prior webinars, people love to sample. People love to sample products at grocery. The only people that don't love to sample or have samples there are the stores themselves. But if they ask their consumer, their most loyal customer will say, yes, bring me samples. Here's what they're saying now. Ease of finding Canadian products at retail, it's getting better. They don't make it easy, but it's getting better, 34%. It's down from 43%, so we have made some movement positively. It's way too hard to find, 20% still feel that way, so 54% actually think we could be doing a better job. So for those that say there's too much Canadian message, Canadians are actually saying, give me more. It's really easy to find 4 and 10, which is a big increase from 20, but that should be 60, 70% if we want to optimize. And I don't care. That, again, is the 10%. So not only are people reacting to messaging, want to buy made in Canada, online, at retail, at all touch points. People want more messaging, not everywhere, not the entire strategy, and they want it easier to find. So there's still an opportunity, and hopefully reach that by the end of 2025. Interest in sampling experienced Canadian products since trade war started. The thing that this trade war has done, this tariff war has done, is made people want to buy Canadian and want to try Canadian. So if you can sample a product, and people say, I'm a service, I can't do that. Well, you can actually demonstrate. You can actually build an experience. You can actually go to an agency and say, build me experience to demonstrate what my service does. The fact is, increased a lot, 41%, to sample or experience your product. So all you need to do is invite them in. Increased a little, 29%. 7 in 10 Canadians, up from 63%, are really motivated to try out Canadian products. They want to buy them. They want to sample them. If you look here, have not changed, but I love sampling, 17 points. I mean, you're at 87 points now. I don't care, 11% again, and I hate sampling. So when the grocery retailer or big box retailer says you can't sample because people don't like it, just show them the fact is 98% actually do like sampling. And if you're a virtual product or service, demonstrate your difference. There's lots of virtual technologies out there. There's lots of visual technologies out there. Use them to actually demonstrate, because people cannot wait to try your Canadian product. And this is late August of 2025, and it continues. We're currently out in the field again to do our next wave. Messaging, there continues to be various ways to message for your support. We tested 50 of them before. We updated 6 of them here and compared August through May. Just look at Encourage a Lot. 60% made in Canada, up from 59%, up from 56. Locally made, the same at 55, 56. Product Canada, 56, 57. Same thing. How Canadian owned, 54, 55. So it doesn't matter, made in Canada, Canadian owned, locally made, product Canada, all great. Proudly Canadian, 100% locally owned. Tougher to say, longer sentence, increases marginal impact, but still extremely strong. And no one's discouraged. How about employing Canadians in your community? If you're an American or foreign brand and you employ Canadians, whether it's at retail or in a warehouse or in a commercial plaza, the fact is, it is a strong message, just marginally less strong than proudly Canadian, 100% locally owned. So if you're there doing it, we are definitely recommending that this be part of your staple. Make sure people know it. I go to too many websites now. I go to too many messages now. I see too many things that have no idea it was Canadian or American. And that is a tiebreaker. If you have everything else equal, it's a tiebreaker. And in fact, it can compete with price at times. You still have to be a great quality product, but it can compete at price, and people will go towards a Canadian product, and Pro-Canada will work. So that's really good news for Canadian products and services, but it's also really good news for foreign-owned brands and services that employ Canadians. You can do things to actually make yourself and embed yourself into Canada. So if we look at larger person job securities have done in the past month, we're going to switch gears here for a sec. The fact is, it's about the same as in May. Delay in looking at houses, 26%, 25% have done or will do. It's 50%. They're not storming back. And I think you can see that. I mean, the Remax and Treb and all those people keep trying to identify how strong the housing market is and condo market is by fooling with numbers and using comparative months that make it look positive. But if you look at the net averages, it is not doing well, and it does not look like it's going to be doing well in the near term, either based on fact to date or consumer sentiment going forward. Now let's have started to look for other job opportunities due to fear of losing a job. Have done 26%, will do 24%. We're at 50%, have or will. Again, higher among youth at 40%, and newcomers, it's stronger. Again, I said it earlier in this webinar, if you can do it, make sure you provide counsel, direction, and guidance to your employees to make sure they understand where the company is going and where the role is going, where you can do that. Easier said than done sometimes. Going to go through some other parts. This is a net increase. Will the increase, decrease, or not change your intention in the next 12 months? Let's just look at these. Buy products up 62%, travel in Canada up 35%, searching on a new job 26%, attending events in my city 20%. That tells you to communicate and make sure they know what's going on. The net increases over here still higher in August than they were in May. Jobs, travel, products, events, all up strongly. Let's look at the negative side. Cross-border shopping down 34 points. Travel in the U.S. down 38%. Buying products down 49%. Big decreases. And this is nothing new. But the fact of the matter is you need to look at what's going on. We need to understand how to actually influence and move people, because cross-border travel to the U.S. is going to drop. But let's make it pro-Canada, not anti-U.S. So number one, the time to act continues to be now. Canadians are open. How are you engaging them? What's the plan? What's the part of the strategy? How does it tie into everything else you're doing within it? What are you doing Canada Day, July 1st? It's a long way off, but what are you doing? There is an opportunity. Accelerating your brand is critical. The number one thing right now is trusted brand name is first to drive purchasing. But products made in my country is fourth. Products made locally is 14th, and brands make me feel good is 12th. Guess what? Canadian brands and products and services make people feel good. Canada's a trusted brand name. Is your brand a trusted brand name? Use it to leverage it. Here, we test 127 different purchase drivers. Here's 4 in the top 14. Phenomenal opportunity for your brand, product, or service. Embrace Canada and local. Remember, Canada is the strongest. Does not matter where you live. Does not matter if you're Quebec. Doesn't matter what language you speak. Followed by local, followed by your province. Provincial is actually third. So most people can't recognize the flag. It's tough to say. You can put it in words. Depends how long your province's words are, and marketing does come down to that. Advertising does come down to that. If you want a simple recipe, embrace Canada, embrace local. You can win big. Engage with compelling content from the past, present, and future. Here's I think a 1970 Molson ad. It's going to work. The fact is, you can reuse past creative to be as effective as new creative. You don't always have to produce new creative. Just because AI can produce 12,000 different images doesn't mean it's a good idea. Use things that work, focus on things that work, and actually consider the past to bring it back. Nostalgia to demonstrate Canadian will work. We've tested it can work well. And number 5 is activate your brand to bring people in and elevate people's experiences. It's crucial. Invite them into your local store, invite them into your website, make them feel good about it. It's one of the things that drives them, elevate the experience, and you can have phenomenal success. So 3 ingredients, you've seen it 100 times before if you've seen me speak or anyone from our team speak. Always be relevant, be compelling, and be better than competition. The fact is, those 3 ingredients are the key to driving success. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be unique. You don't need to be new, different, ownable. You need to be relevant. The point is, do I care about the message? Do I care about the offer? You need to be compelling. Do I care enough to actually do something? Do I need to do something to act? Am I actually going to stop? Am I actually going to talk about? Actually go on site? Is it compelling? Is what you're offering me the value compelling? Well, being Canadian is one thing that can help. Employing Canadian is another thing that can help. And the third and last thing, the reason why people change behavior, the reason why we drive market share, is you have to be better than competition. Relevant, compelling, better than competition is the ingredient. Too many people use price, temporary price reductions, death of brands, death of profitability, death of ROI. It is essential part of strategy. Retailers make you do it. The point is, can you do it without it? How much can you do without? And the further you can stay away from it, the better off you will be from a profitability standpoint. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, click on this message. This will be available on consultimi.com, and we'll have more coming. If you want more information, you want us to test something, you want to chat, you want to talk about other facts, we're going in with more studies. You want to actually be part of the conversation, ask some questions, give either Vanessa or I send us an email. reach out to us, phone us, whatever it may be, and we're happy to talk. You know us, Insight Driving Profit for the past 50 plus years. And whether you're in discovery, confirmation, optimization, we're happy to help out. Thank you for your time. You'll see me again. I'm going to do shorter snippets going forward in the 3, 5, 10-minute range. And I hope you enjoyed this, and be candid, constructive, criticism, brutal honesty. Love to hear from you. Thank you very much.